The day 1 Witch Queen raid is fast approaching, so in this video I'm going to test and compare a bunch of different options for DPS. Here are the weapons that I'm going to be testing. Obviously, I can't test every role of every weapon, but this should cover the vast majority of what everyone's going to be using. The reason I'm including the Hothead is because it's the highest DPS legendary rocket launcher to pair with Gjallarhorn. Here are the damage numbers that I'm using for testing. Wolfpack rounds are going to be applied to the Hothead. For Parasite, I'm going to assume that you're starting out with 20 stacks of Worm's Hunger, which pretty much triples your first shot's damage. For testing all of the weapons, I'm shooting at max fire rate with the fastest possible reload speed, which means that this will be close to optimal DPS for each weapon, with a little bit of room for human error. When testing the rocket launchers, I made two assumptions for the sake of simplicity and consistency. Number 1, each rocket has infinite velocity, which means 0 travel time, and this is to keep all of the timing consistent and also to remove velocity as an external variable. I apply this assumption to the Parasite as well. And number 2, I assume that all 8 of the Wolfpack rounds will do full damage and that they also each have 0 travel time, but keep in mind that in an actual situation, they are delayed and somewhat inconsistent. For Reed's Regret, Boss Spec deals more DPS than Backup Mag, which I've tested myself, so I'm using Boss Spec in this video. As you can see, Reed's Regret has by far the highest total damage, which might even be overkill for most situations, and Hothead has the highest DPS. Here's the graph for DPS over time. You can see that Parasite has very high burst DPS, which is matched only by the Hothead, and then it drops below Gjallarhorn about 8 seconds in. Hothead retains the highest DPS all the way through its reserves, but also has the second lowest total damage behind Gjallarhorn. Whisper, Sleeper, and Reed's Regret all have lower DPS than the others, but are excellent for longer DPS phases. It's also interesting that the Whisper, Sleeper, and Reed's Regret are all pretty close in terms of DPS. I also want to mention that because Gjallarhorn has proximity detonation on its main rocket, sometimes it explodes without doing any impact damage. The impact damage is about 16% of its total damage, which is quite sizable but not a deal breaker. The results of this test are assuming that the Gjallarhorn will do impact damage 100% of the time, so keep in mind that in an actual situation, Gjallarhorn's DPS can be anywhere from 0 to 16% lower than shown here, assuming that all of the Wolfpack rounds hit. Based on the testing in my other video, the Hothead that I tested is actually kind of an outlier for DPS, so here's some other legendary rocket launchers and how they compare to Gjallarhorn and Parasite. I also found that most other legendary rocket launchers with good rolls will output very similar DPS numbers to these as well. So if you have a good rocket launcher that I haven't tested yet, chances are it falls within this general range. If you're thinking about using an auto-loading rocket with a Izanagi, I haven't gotten around to testing those yet, but based on analyzing someone else's footage and doing some rough calculations, I found that Izanagi rocket deals higher DPS than everything else in this video. I'll probably make a whole separate video on Izanagi rocket later on, but for now you can just take my word for it. Anyways, I hope you found this video useful. Peace.